Welcome to the Andre Price Show, the show where we talk to different guests from industries such as artistry, animation, science, politics, business, and technology to learn more about what they do on a day-to-day basis. I'm your host, engineer, and published author, Andre Price. Joining me today is model and published author, Kateri Sollars. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am burning. It's so hot.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like
it is
80
hot
degrees
outside.
today. It's 80 degrees. I don't know how people stand this. It's awful.
Yeah, it is awful.
So a few years ago, right, you used to write for Detroit Mercy. You wrote for the Varsity News and you wrote for articles such as how Detroit Mercy hosted the Feminist Scholarship Colloquium. And you also published an article about Pulitzer Prize winning poet Brandon Sum. My question is, how did you
Yes.
get into writing?
So I've been writing ever since I was really young. Probably since I was 8 years old, I would just write little stories or little poems in my notebooks, but they didn't really go anywhere. And
Mhm.
then when I went to high school at Bishop Foley, I also wrote for my school newspaper there. And then I found out that UDM had a school newspaper, and I just really wanted to write for them. My dad always said that I should look into journalism, and even though my bachelor's was in psych, it wasn't really fulfilling that writing part and that creative part.
I see. And what type of journalism do you enjoy the most? You've done blogs. You've done like quick news videos. I know you've done one on the Iran wars. What type of journalism do you enjoy the most?
The journalism that I enjoy the most is probably investigative journalism and community journalism.
Nice. Can you tell me more
Um,
about those?
Well, I think investigative journalism and investigative journalism I specifically enjoy because during when everything had started with the Palestinian war, there was a journalist by the name of Bisan Auda who kept reporting no matter what she was seeing or what she was going through.
Hmm.
So that kind of inspired me to write more about investigative journalism and what's happening globally. Community journalism. I just really like storytelling. And I think that there are a lot of people who need their stories to be heard and told. And I think that community journalism is a great way to connect with the people of Detroit and see what's really going on down there with the culture and everything.
Nice. That's really admirable. What type of stories do you like to tell?
I would say I like to interview people about their crafts and what they enjoy. I remember I had interviewed Josiah, and I think that was my first interview. And the interviews kind of they open up the world for me and they allow me to see like, okay, how is music made? Or how do people go about producing their videos and things like that.
Nice. Sorry. Who's Josiah? Can you introduce that person?
So he is an artist. He
Hmm.
is the artist of the song Break Shit. That was when the race riots were happening. And I just think that I've interviewed a lot of different artists with different styles. It's interesting to see how they go about how they create their music and how they also interact with their audience as well.
Nice. And congratulations on getting that interview. How did you score that one?
Thank you. It was actually by accident. I was walking up the stairs and I had bought his merchandise and I didn't know it. But him and his friends were walking on the opposite side of the stairwell, and they're like, "Hey, she's wearing your merch," and it was him. And then I interviewed him after the show.
Wow, that is a lucky coincidence.
It was a very lucky coincidence.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of it's not really, I guess, the same scenario, but it's reminded me of the many times I would just be walking around Detroit and then I'll just randomly see someone. Hey, Andre, how's it going? Oh, hey, didn't know you'd be
Yeah,
here. Like it's a
yeah.
small world.
It is a small world, and it's nice to be able to break that barrier with people and have a conversation with them like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. So you started You heard the blog as a
Mhm.
hobby because, and I'm quoting, you wanted to bring light to some important things that are happening in the world and create a safe space for the unseen to feel seen and heard. Can you tell me more about that blog that you made?
So that blog that I had made was inspired basically from the writings that I had done in class that I realized had potential, but no one was ever going to see them if I didn't post what I was writing. So I created that blog kind of to just get my feet wet a little and see how people would receive my writing and my work. And it turned out pretty well. And I think print journalism and I think online journalism is important. And I think we're losing that format pretty quickly.
Mm.
And I also created that blog specifically to stay in the world of original journalism. I think that it's important that, especially in this day and age, we have people using their authentic voices in their writing to connect with other people.
That's a good point. What is your, I guess, what is your opinion on independent journalism versus that of mainstream journalism?
And I would say there's many subgroups in journalism that I'm even still learning about.
Mhm.
Independent journalism, or I guess you could say freelance journalism, is people going out and kind of reporting on what they see around them. It doesn't have to be super formal. It can be like the posts you see on Instagram. But I think where we're losing the formality of it is we don't know where these sources are coming from. So we're losing the ability to fact check.
And do you think that's going to be, I guess, an overall problem with the future of journalism, either now or in the immediate future?
I think it will be a problem, especially with the rise of AI, as more lies are being able to be fabricated into journalism. Um, I am honestly not sure what the future will be like for journalism. I
Mm.
pray that we will still keep our authentic voices and writing style, but I don't really see that happening.
I agree. This reminds me of a story. I don't know if you've seen this news story. A lawyer, he used ChatGPT in his case. So, and Chat gave him completely just incorrect sources.
Oh, yeah, I
and
did not
he
see that.
he used these sources in court and ended up getting disbarred for that.
Oh, wow.
I know.
As you should. As
Yeah,
you
of
should.
course. Definitely warranted there.
Yeah,
do you think
100%.
this, I guess, will be displayed in journalism as well, where we're relying on AI for what we're excited and we end up spreading misinformation in that way because of AI?
I think it already is, especially as like when you see the posts online. There's a lot of videos that have used AI to make up a completely different story. And then you have the older generation and AI. They don't know what's real and what's not real. So something could be reported on that's really not true, and then they believe it.
It's so hard to tell sometimes. It's
It
getting,
is. It really
I
is.
don't know if you agree with me on this, but I feel like at times it's getting harder to tell what's real
Yeah,
and
I
what's not.
agree. I agree. Yes.
Compared to a month ago to now, it's a giant leap.
It'll be a giant leap as we get older.
Ah, yeah, don't remind me. When it comes to your herd, which of your blogs that you've posted on your herd do you, I guess, feel the most attached to, or it could be all of them, but which one do you think you relate to
Let
the
me
most?
actually let me look and see. I think the beauty supply, aka my closet, that one means a lot to me because I was just sitting and thinking about my hair one day and I was listening to a song, but I forgot what song, and it was about the beauty supply. And I looked around my room and I was like, my room is basically my beauty supply. I have the Oars olive oil, I have the pink lusters, Like if someone came over with hair like me, I'd be able to help them with their hair.
Mm.
And I think that that is something that is so beautiful within the Black culture that it deserves to be recognized, the journey that people with textured hair go through just to love their hair.
Wow. Yeah, I completely agree.
And then I
Ha-
think what other ones? The Josiah one the Josiah and You Have Created will also be very special to me. Josiah because that was the first person that I ever interviewed.
mhm.
And then the You Have Created because I read that at a ceremony at Detroit Mercy. And that was the first reading that I ever read in front of that many people.
Really?
Yes, I
How,
was like when I was standing up there, I was shaking.
how did it
I
feel?
was so nervous. It felt it felt really good to have my writing heard, but it was really nerve-wracking having all of those people look at me.
I go through this conundrum I don't and I don't know if you relate or not, but it's like whenever you create some form of medium, I always regret it like right after. I don't know if you
I
relate to
always
that.
regret posting it. I get so scared to post it, and then when I post it, I'm like, "Wait, was it really good, and should I take it down?"
Have you ever actually taken a post down right after publishing it because of that?
Um, no, I think I even some of my writing on my blog, when it's posted wasn't actually when it was written for some of them. Some of them were written 1 or 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and sometimes I'll just look through my journals and see any poems that I have left or abandoned, and I'll go back and rework them. Uh, so I think I put a lot of thought into what I post before I post it, so I don't have to delete it.
How many poems do you have in the vault right now, just waiting to be published?
Too many, too many. I have some in my notes on my phone too.
Oh,
Too
really?
many. Yeah,
Can we expect the poetry book sometime soon?
that is actually a great question. So, my plan or what I am hoping to do is to get some more practice with my blog, some more experience, learn
Hmm.
how to do a talk show like this. And then I want to make an actual physical copy of not just my writings, but kind of like a general culture lifestyle magazine for Detroit.
Nice. That's actually really
So
cool.
I want,
Really idea.
thank you. I want to include like artists, beauty tips, fashion tips, restaurants to eat at, like things like that.
Nice. I mean, I'd buy that day one.
I would appreciate if you did. That would be great. If people bought my magazine, that would be amazing.
Yeah, if you ever need
I
help,
could,
I guess advertising, just let us know.
yeah, definitely. I'll hit you guys up for that. I just need to get it in motion.
Yeah, of course. I starting is always just the hardest step, honestly.
I agree. I think starting is definitely the hardest step because there's so many ways to do it, but you just got to choose what way you're comfortable with and what shows your personality through your work.
Yeah, completely agree. And speaking of, I guess, showing personality through work, I know a few months ago you published two poems in Vantage magazine. How'd you get the opportunity?
So I I went to an event and I saw their magazine and I offered to help them with editing and with writing to edit their magazine. And I saw on Instagram that they had submissions open. So I looked through a couple of my old poems and I edited them and then I submitted it to
Mhm.
Vantage. And I love the team there. I love what they're doing. And I love how inclusive they are with all of the different media and artists that they include.
Nice. And I guess after you submitted, they just sent you an email saying, "Hey, we really enjoyed your work. We're going to put in the next edition."
Yes, and then I went to like a little party for it for my submission, and they had done and they interviewed each of the artists to see like choose to submit this piece and what is this piece about?
Can you tell us about the two pieces of poetry you submitted?
So I remember one poem. It's let me see if I can pull that one up too. These I might not have on my phone, so I don't remember them off the top of my head.
Mhm.
But the poem about the water and the sand is really just a mix of feelings and emotions that I was going through at the time. My one of my grandmas had passed away, and she lived in Muskegon, and she would always make this candy called sea foam. So when we would go to Muskegon around the winter time, we have a cottage that's right on the lake. And it's beautiful during the winter, but it can be a little depressing. So I remember I was
Mm.
just looking out at the water one night and I was like, what if I just walked in? So I think it goes 10 toes down. My feet are in the ocean. I'm drifting down. Something like sea foam is pulling me down. The sea foam is in remembrance of my grandma. Basically, all of it is in remembrance of Muskegon and my grandma.
Oh wow. When you're writing these poems, I guess how long does it take you to come up with the appropriate word choice, and how difficult of a task is that?
I would say what I struggle with the most is being too direct in my poems and them being too short.
Mhm.
Uh, because sometimes it really just has to be cut and dry like that. But other times people need you to paint that imagery. And I think I see the picture so well in my head, but getting it out into words can be difficult because words evoke feelings and you got to pick the right words to describe that picture in your head.
Mm.
I like to use a little dictionary. I like to use that.
Huh. And how do you know when you found the right words?
It has to feel good inside of you. And whatever you want to put down on paper
Mhm.
has to be what you were seeing in your head. And sometimes I know people focus a lot on if other people like it, but how you write and your style will always find someone that enjoys that particular style.
Wow, that's a good point. When
Thank
when
you.
it comes to, I guess, your writings, what do you find to be more difficult? The poetry side of things, the investigative journalism, or the blogging?
I think all of them are hard in their own way. Poetry, I would say, is hard because you don't want it to sound too generic and you want it to draw people in. So sometimes you can let how you feel about yourself get in the way. Investigative journalism, I would say, is difficult just simply because sometimes people don't want to participate in your questions, or there's certain legal things that you have to go around.
Mhm.
So I think that's what's hard about investigative journalism and just getting your foot in the door to find places to work.
Yeah,
Yeah. Blogging, I would say you can really blog about anything. For me, it's just hard for me to actually sit down and produce content on a timely basis.
yeah, that is difficult. That is
Yeah,
very
I would say
difficult.
that's the most difficult part.
When it comes to your investigative journalism, can we expect more videos from you?
I would love to do more videos. I am planning to go to more events during the summer in Detroit, so it'll probably be more community based instead of investigative journalism.
Mhm.
If I did investigative journalism, it'd be about world affairs, but I don't really want to touch on that if I'm not there directly experiencing it. Um, so I think for now, more community based journalism.
If you're able to say, what events are you planning on going to in the upcoming months?
I know that there is the Arts Beats and Eats Festival in Royal Oak. I always go to that, and I think it would be interesting to see how long people have been going for, why they choose to go, and what it means to their family. And then I know that there are a couple of Juneteenth events happening pretty soon around the corner, and I think it would be important to understand why Juneteenth is a holiday and why it is important, especially now.
Nice. Yeah, I think those are really good topics to touch upon. I think, and hear me out. This is a very creative, right, business idea I have for you. You
Yes.
can call it the Kateri Show, right?
Okay.
And you create the 1 minute shorts on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and you can upload it there.
Uh-huh.
And each short is just its own like condensed episode.
Okay, I see.
Do you see the vision here?
Yes, I see the vision. But I
Perfect
feel like I
idea.
would have too much to fit into 1 minute.
See, that's what the separate episodes are for.
Oh,
It-
okay, I see. Because there could be
yeah,
like a part one and part two. I see.
exactly.
I see the picture.
I mean, hey, you may have
I
10
like that
episodes in
idea.
one event. It works out.
I kind of had, so you know Wayne's World?
Yep, I do.
So I have like one of the highlight features of my Instagram is called Kay's World. And I think it would be so cool to make a show called Kay's World.
You should do that.
I might have to.
I mean, hey, all you have to do is pick up a camera and there you go. Step one is completed.
I'm telling you, it's just the scheduling. Like,
It's,
I definitely have a story done now. I just, it's editing and scheduling, really.
scheduling
So,
stuff.
yeah.
Stuff. So I know one of the articles that you talked about that you wrote about, and I actually messaged you privately about this one was the Belle Isle redevelopment plan.
Oh,
What
yeah.
what led you to writing that article?
So I work at the yacht club at Belle right now for the summer. And I saw an Instagram post that said Belle Isle is closed to gentrifiers. And I never heard of the plan until this year, a couple of months ago. And just working on the island, you see how many people go there, you see what it's used for. It's really a family spot, and they're trying to make it better. I really wanted to hear what people on Belle Isle had to say about it because if this is something that is pressed forward, I feel that Detroiters should have a say in what happens to Belle Isle. Um, a lot of people weren't too thrilled about it. A lot of people took it as something that was not going to happen. Some people agree with the plan. But I think that it is definitely something to keep in the background just to keep mind of and be wary of. It was interesting to hear Rod Lockwood's proposal
Mhm.
versus the citizens' point of view. That was very interesting.
Oh no, I agree with you, and
Yeah.
I understand the intention behind the plan, but I think my problem is I feel like, and you can agree or disagree. I feel like a lot of very symbolic gestures of what make Detroit Detroit. That includes Belle Isle. That includes the Renaissance Center. I I'm not the biggest fan of all the plans that are being proposed or approved to just get rid of these really important, I say, really important cultural parts of Detroit.
I agree. I think that if we build too much, then those parts are going to be gone and people will forget what Detroit is. I think that his intention is probably in the right spot, but he's looking at it from more of a business economics point of view, which could potentially harm other people. And not to
Yeah, I
mention
agree.
just people, but also the wildlife on the island. There's a whole ecosystem on that island.
Yeah, true. It's a beautiful place.
It is, it's very beautiful. It'd be a shame if it turned into its own mini city.
Yeah, completely agree. Alongside a lot of your writing, you're also a model. So how did you first get into modeling?
So when I was younger, people would stop my dad all the time and they were like, "You should get your daughter into modeling." But I was really shy and I don't think I would have liked that when I was younger. I had a friend of mine from Wayne State who kept asking me to be in his photo shoots, and I eventually said yes, which opened the door to other photographers asking to take pictures of me. And I went to a few casting calls, And it's definitely been an experience.
What is the process behind a casting call, or just the
So
behind the scenes for it?
I'm kind of still learning that myself. I think the process behind a casting call, from what I've experienced so far, is you apply either. So the way I find them is I find them through Instagram through a modeling group chat,
Mhm.
and they'll post these dates of casting calls, and you show up in all black attire, heels, and just natural makeup, natural hair, and you walk. They tell you how they want you to walk and everything. And then if you make it, they'll let you know. If you don't, they say to come back next time. But yeah. And then the process for like the day of a show, we do some walkthroughs. People are getting into their clothes. There's media people there doing interviewing the models, taking pictures. I've had the opportunity to both be a media person and a model person. Both are interesting experiences.
What are the differences, or I guess can you describe your experiences doing both?
Modeling, it's a ton of fun. I would say it's very, you would feel like it's not quick because the show is so long, but because you're on stage and you're always walking out, it feels
Mhm.
like just a flash of time has gone by. Um,
Wow.
Media, I did my first time taking pictures and videoing a fashion show. I think it was in March or April,
Mhm.
and I had a great time. The camera I used was great. The pictures turned out great. Um, I would say if you are interested in modeling or media or photography or anything like that, you just got to practice and really put yourself out there.
Nice. And I guess, do you prefer the live shows or more so being on a magazine or on a post?
I like being on a magazine or post. The live shows I feel can get a little stressful sometimes, and you don't always have like the physical print of the photos or the work that you've done.
Mhm.
But with magazines, my family has the magazines that I'm in. I have the magazines that I'm in. My kids will see these magazines, so that's what I like about it.
Nice. I am curious which one takes longer because you have to rehearse for both. The live shows are maybe about an hour, 2 hours, and I assume there's multiple takes for the magazine. So which one takes longer, or do they take about the same time?
I would say for both, they're about an all day event.
Really, all day?
So if you're planning, I would say the shoot, the Aura Supremacy that I did media for, I got there at 3, show started at 6, probably didn't leave until 8 or 9.
Wow.
Yeah,
When you say
yeah.
six, you mean 6 in the morning or 6 p.m.?
6 p.m. 6
Okay,
p.m.
okay, much better than what I was imagining.
Yes, cannot catch me up at 6 a.m. No.
Yeah, yeah, I would feel bad for you.
Yeah, I
Uh,
wouldn't go.
yeah, I'm a night owl, and so 6 p.m. I mean 6 a.m. Sorry, sounds just awful to me.
Treacherous. Yeah.
So you were on Michigan Fashion Week. How did that happen? What's the backstory around that?
So I went to the casting call for Michigan Fashion Week. I did the rehearsals and everything, and then I actually got pretty sick, and I did not make it to the show, unfortunately.
Mm.
So that was a huge bummer because I was really excited.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. There's always more experiences.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you were also on the skin issue of the Vine magazine.
That is true. That is true.
And was that also through a casting call?
Yes, it was. And that one was so all of those little beads and stuff you see in my hair and my braids, those are actually belly button piercings.
Really?
Yeah, they just stuck belly button piercings into my braids.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's creative. I never would
it
have
was a
thought
cool
that.
concept. I never would have thought to do that either.
Do you have any upcoming shows or shoots that, if you can say, any upcoming?
Not that I know of right now. I am signed to Michigan Models. There might be some preparation for that, but besides that, I think right now my priority is focusing more on my writing instead of my modeling.
Nice. And do you have any upcoming journals, blogs, or news articles that you're planning on publishing soon?
One article that I want to publish, there is a rapper and his name is Fat Llama, and I had interviewed him a while ago. I just never got around to finishing his article, but he contacted me recently about his new album release. And part of the reason why I do like to interview artists is because they have their own quirky, cool style. So Fat Llama is like this quirky, colorful, poppy artist that really just has his own unique style. So that's an article that I want to write next.
Tell me about his style. Or is that, I mean, if that's not taking away content from your article.
It's not, no, it's not taking away content. Let's see. Ben Llama. So he also goes by the Harry Muffin Man. So it's kind of all poppy music, and he wears this like little bandit mask. It's orange and pink with like these little clouds on it. His music is definitely a different style, I would say. It's quirky.
Definitely have to check it out after the show.
Yeah, definitely. You have
I'll
to.
take note of that. So I know in a previous question, you mentioned that as of right now, you're focusing more on your writing over modeling. So does that mean that your overall goal is more so in the journalism area?
Yes.
What is your goal?
Oh, my goal, I would like, if possible, I would like to start out as a news editor or news reporter, because I really just want to get my foot in the door. And I think my goal for the long term, especially with what's going on in the world now, is to shed more light on what's happening and to bring more voices to talk about what's happening. I feel that especially with the how the government has been silencing other political officials and how they have been silencing journalists. I think it's very important to fight against that and to fight for the integrity of journalism.
Do you believe that, I guess, access to information is, I guess, under threat?
I heavily believe that access to information is under threat. Book bans have always been a thing. I don't think that that will ever go away. I think the censorship of certain journalists in the media and the murders of journalists is a problem. I think these next few years will be very interesting with the access of information. I think that it is important to know what hands that information is coming from and what their intent is with that information. I think that it is important to keep searching for information and not just take what you see at face value.
Do you think that freelancing is a good way to, I guess, counteract a lot of these restrictions?
I do and I don't. I think freelancing is a good way to counteract these problems because in the community, like how we have witnessed with crimes against people of color, had those community journalists not been in the street videotaping what was happening, we would not have known. So that is why it is needed. But I think freelancing can become a problem because it can be seen as not structured and not professional. I think that you have to be intentional with the tone of voice you use, the information you include, and kind of the structure of your videos and your writing, because no one's going to take your writing seriously if the facts are wrong or if the grammar is poor.
That's true. Although I will say, and I'm interested in your perspective on that too. It seems as if when it comes to not being professional, that is something that is very common in mainstream, like popular news outlets as well, especially when it comes to partisan bias with misleading facts. Sometimes I feel like freelancing's better in that case.
I think it has, like, unprofessionalism has become pretty common in journalism. I think also that Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it also doesn't help because I think that that has created a different form of journalism in and of itself. Yeah.
What steps do you think freelancers can do in order to, I guess, counteract some of this misinformation? Because of course it's a societal issue.
Mhm.
Not just one person can stop that, but what do you think, I guess, the first steps could be to make a change in that area?
I think be confident in your role as a reporter. Confidence is a very big part of who you are as a reporter because you're approaching people, you are asking them questions. So you have to be able to have that authority that says, yes, I am a reporter. This is my job. This isn't just for fun. And I think also just making your work and your videos clean, kind of like how the news is formatted, make them clean, informational, and to the point. Keep your even though it's human nature to include your opinions, keep your opinions out of what you report. You are there to bring the facts and only the facts of what happened. And I think that is how people can bring more structure to journalism.
Honestly, that is very refreshing to hear. I feel like we hear the opposite.
Oh no, what do you hear?
I feel like I hear the opposite of that because it seems to me that a lot of people, you know, you hear the facts, and I hear people say, or I see people say, well, the facts disagree with my opinion.
Yeah, some like the facts just have to be right, and you can always form your opinion, but the facts are the facts at the end of the day.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, the facts are the facts.
When it comes to, I guess, reporting news, and obviously, right, you have many different goals in mind when it comes to journalism. But when you're talking about the news, what type of, I guess, reporter would you like to be seen as?
I want to be seen as someone that people can rely on to tell the truth, that they can go for information, and that they can rely on to bring justice to their communities. With my focus on women and gender studies, and also with my focus on writing, especially with the Epstein files, I think this is an important time for journalists to really use their voices to help the voices that were silenced.
What
I think
inspire? Oh,
journal.
keep going.
Hmm?
Sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
keep
You can go
going.
ahead.
Oh no,
Yeah.
your answer. It seems great. Keep going.
Okay. But I think that oftentimes journalists are one of the first sources that information is given to besides the police and law enforcement. And
Mhm.
it is our duty, at least from my point of view, it is my duty to represent those people as fairly and as adequately as I can.
What inspires you to write with that message in mind?
It's just frustrating hearing that, especially with what's happening in Palestine and with uh, what happened with the Epstein files. It's really frustrating to see that there are journalists and people coming forward and that their voices are being silenced and just not listened to. And for me, like if I can't vocally say it in front of someone's face, then I'm going to write about it. And you're going to see my writing everywhere until something is done about it or someone listens. I think that the reason why there are book bans is because people know how powerful words really are. And I think I've read a lot of powerful, inspirational books. And just the fact that I was able to retain those messages through words printed on paper is what makes me want to do that for other people.
Yeah, I think books and as words in general are the main source of education. You could say,
Yes.
even with technology, right? Even with technology, you're looking up articles, you're reading different posts, different pages, and in itself, that's information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it comes to, I guess, having your voice heard, what do you think the best source or the best medium for being heard is?
Do you mean like what kind of online platforms?
Yep, exactly.
That I'm still figuring out. I think Instagram has worked a lot for me. Substack, I don't know too much about. I feel like that reaches a broad range of people, and I feel like mostly older people. That is a tough one. I would
I
say
aim to give tough questions.
some of your questions have been tough. I would say I'm definitely still finding my platform. Yeah.
Hope you find it, right? The world deserves your message. It deserves to hear your
Thank
message.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of messages, is there a message you would like people to hear that listening to this podcast right now?
I think don't keep all of those thoughts inside of your head. If there is something that you want to write down and you think that should be shared with the world, I think definitely share it. Your beliefs, just as long as you're not hurting other people, your beliefs do matter and your voice does matter. And you should be able to share that with the world. Because if you're going through something yourself and you share your writing or your art, you're able to connect with people that feel the same way. So through this world of art, you're able to meet a whole bunch of other creators and kind of create your own world in and of itself and find life and meaning within that.
Have you thought about becoming a public speaker?
uh, um, I get really nervous speaking in front of people. It's bad. It's
Is
so
it?
bad. Yeah. Because my hands will get sweaty and then my hands will start shaking.
I mean, this reminds me. It was like 2 years ago. You were interviewing me.
That is true. I think I kind of lost that spark and confidence somewhere along the way, like when I had first really gotten into it. And I think I'm just now getting back into it, especially with all of my friends and peers creating magazines, because we're also artistic and creative in our own way.
Hmm.
I just gotta do it because people, you're not the first person that has asked me either. Like, when are you gonna write something?
Look, if you want a free, easy interview, just let me know.
I
My
think I'm about to. I want I think I would like, this might be a little too late in the year, but I would like to release my first magazine edition on my birthday in January.
Oh,
So
really?
that way yeah, that gives me time to like set up each category that I want my magazine.
You still have a lot of time.
I
I'm
know
sure.
that's a lot of
Sure,
time.
you got this. I'm sure you can do it.
Yes. Next time you hear from me, I'll have a podcast and a magazine.
I'll take that bet.
All
Let's see
right, we'll
it.
make a deal. Yes, we'll make a deal. I'll do it for sure. This time I'm actually gonna do it. And then people will stop asking me.
That's what we like to hear.
Yes.
So before I guess we we end the podcast, is there, I guess, one last thing you would like to say to the people listening?
I would say, especially now is the time to start using your voice. I know the world is super big and not everyone is going to see your stuff and not everyone is going to know who you are. But just by you sharing your thoughts, your artwork, whatever it is that helps you get your thoughts out is what helps other people to continue with their lives. It literally, like the artwork that you post, even if it's just some animation that says, have a good day, you're doing great, that can save someone's life and save how they feel about themselves on the inside.
That was really powerful, actually.
I think that's definitely why I started sharing my art and my writing in the first place, was because I just needed my feelings to be validated and
Mhm.
I needed an outlet for my emotions.
Yeah, and that's always a good place to start.
Yes, it
Journaling,
is.
art, those types of mediums are a good way to just express yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So for the people listening, where can they check out your work, whether that's your writing or your modeling?
So most of my modeling is on my Instagram. My work, I like to use Squarespace. That's where my blog is. So my Squarespace link is also in my Instagram.
And what's your Instagram?
K period A period S period 36.
Okay, for everyone listening, you're required to follow her account.
Please follow. Please check out my work. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like to hear from me, any topics from women and gender studies globally that you would like me to discuss.
Perfect. Kateri,
And yeah,
thank you for coming on the show. It was great talking with you.
thank you. And where can I find this recording?
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Ooh.
All right. Thank you so much.
And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow myself, Andre Price, and Backup Squad LLC on Instagram. I'm Andre. See you next time.